Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So I have a product here to review. This should be an air jack from VEVOR. Gotta have something to rotate my tires on my Jeep, and I wanted something that I could use outside on the gravel, because now that we're RV living, I don't have a garage, so I need something to work out on the dirt or gravel to jack the Jeep up to rotate the tires. So this ought to do the trick, hopefully. Luckily, I opened it up from the right side. I'm surprised I didn't know which side of the box was top or bottom. So it looks like it's packaged good. So we'll take it out of the box, sit it on the table. So this should be actually fairly simple to set up. Pretty much just got to install the handle and then this little hose. So as far as instructions, it tells you how to install it. It's not real good instructions, but it's pretty simple to do, so shouldn't be a problem. Basically tells you just how to stick the handle on, how to put the handle together, even though it's not a close-up where you can see real good, but I think we can do that fairly simple. So basically we have these two halves of the handle. They go like this, and then we have a plate that actually puts them together. This thing here, it looks like a top and a bottom to it. So I would say we match up the holes here. Then we just have 4 bolts and 4 nylock nuts. We have this big one that actually holds the handle on. So we're just going to take these bolts, put them through the handle. And they're going to go like so. And our top plate will go on here. And then a nylock nut. We're going to repeat that with all 4 of them when putting the handle together like that. Looks like there's going to be 1 extra nylock nut. Okay, so all we need to tighten this up will be a 10mm wrench and a 10mm socket. Probably want to try your best to hold this thing straight when you tighten it up. And that looks good. So this is basically going to set in here like so, and then our bolt here goes through. So we should be able to just stick the bolt in. Put our nut on it. And we raise this up and it'll set to different heights, or lower. Either way, when you raise up on it, it has a hook that it catches in so it don't slide out. Same way as this one goes in, and there's a hook that it catches in basically, like so. Okay, so on this bolt here we have a 12mm for the bolt side and a 13 for the nut side. I'm going to tighten it in, but you don't want to tighten it so much that it won't slide up and down. If you pinch it too much, it might not move up and down freely. We want to take most of this slop out, but still leave it where it moves up and down. That's a little bit much right there, so we'll back it off right about there. Okay, so for this step here, putting the hose on, we need a 13mm wrench, and we're just going to run this hose up through the handle. And so we can run it in this one, this slot, come out this slot right here. And the hose is actually a little bit long, so I think I'll trim it off just a little bit. You just want to make sure you don't trim it off too much. So before I trim it, I want to go ahead and have this bend in it to make sure that I don't trim it off too much. I want to have a full range of motion. Okay, so we'll trim this hose off just about. I want to leave a little bit of play. Don't want it too snug. Trim it off nice and straight. So what we have is a flare on here. We take this little nut off right here. Put our nut back on our hose beforehand. And we got to slide this all the way over the flare. Just work it around a little bit, it'll go right over that flare. Then we'll run it up and we snug this up. And we don't want to tighten this so tight that we damage the hose. You could if you tightened it too tight. That should be plenty. Okay, so fairly simple to use. You can see the handle here. We have a air in valve, a air out valve. So when we crack this open straight, that's going to put air in, raise our lift. Shut it off, it's going to stop it. When we want to let our lift down, we turn this one. It puts the air out through this exhaust and lets our lift down. Right here we have a high pressure relief valve. Okay, so for airing this up, I want to use my small little VEVOR air compressor. Should work great for that lift. And then I got an air hose attached to it, so I just need to air this up. Okay, now that my little VEVOR air compressor has 120 psi, we'll take and plug in the air hose. Now we're ready to raise it up. So we do the air in valve to raise it. This should come right up to the top. It will stop when it gets to the top. So once it gets to the top and hits, then you can just turn the valve off. No need in leaving it on. You want to turn that valve off, the green valve. And then when we release it to let it down, we turn off this one. It's going to let the air out through this filter and let it down. Now, it's going to let down slow right now because there is no weight on it. If you have the weight of your vehicle on it, it's going to let down a lot faster. But you'll notice as soon as the air releases here, it's going to start going down. As I can demonstrate, if I put some weight on here, it will go down faster because it's going to push the air out faster. Now we need to turn our out valve off and we're ready to raise a vehicle. Okay, so this VEVOR jack is a 5-ton jack. It says 11,000 pounds, which it's not exactly right. 10,000 pounds will be 5 tons, but it says 5 ton, 11,000 pounds. So now we'll take this VEVOR airbag jack and we'll try to lift the Jeep Gladiator with it. Okay, so for my first test, I want to raise up the front of the Jeep Gladiator because the front is usually the heaviest because you have the engine. So we'll plug it in. Make sure that you're under a solid point on the axle to raise it. You should be able to just turn this valve. There we go, raise it right up. As you can see, we can turn it. So this is what I wanted, something I can raise this up. I can put a jack stand over here now. I can raise up the rear, jack it up, and I can rotate my tires on the Gladiator. So to let this down, we just need to turn this valve. And as I said, it should go down faster now that we have some weight on it. Let it so all the air goes out. Then we can go try lifting the back of the Jeep. You also want to make sure when you do this that you have emergency brake on and that you scotch the tires the best you can to keep your vehicle from rolling. Okay, so now I'm going to try to raise the back of the Jeep Gladiator, both wheels at the same time, by putting the jack under the rear differential, which is not something you recommended. You need to do one side at a time, but this is just for the test. So I got it centered on the rear differential, air hose hooked up. My down valve is turned off. Turn on my up valve. Compressor kicked on over there. Okay, so there you can see that I lifted both tires at the same time on the rear of this Jeep Gladiator. Now, it lifted this side a little higher than the other. It's not level. But that's why one thing is it's not recommended. It's just something dangerous. I just done this for the test just to see if I can raise both of them. You definitely want to make sure you got both wheels chopped on the front so your vehicle doesn't roll. But we got her done and it done a good job. Now we'll just let this valve out, let the air out, let it down. Okay guys, that is it for the VEVOR airbag pneumatic jack. VEVOR sent this to me to review. I'm not getting paid a dime for this. They just sent it to me to review, so I'll give you an honest review about it. And in my opinion, it works great. As you've seen, I raised the Jeep Gladiator up front and rear, and it's going to be real handy for me. I can take and roll this thing on the gravel, the dirt, bring it out, raise up the Jeep, and rotate my tires, change the tire or whatever. Works really good. I will post a link to this below where you can check these out. Thank you guys for watching Woodsman Adventures. Click the thumbs up on this video, subscribe down below, and we'll catch you on the next one. Right on.